I swear to God, there is some sort of God working against me. All the books I wanted to film with today, I don't have with me. And then I get everything set up and then the neighbours just start drilling into the walls. Like, they're always building something. It's the God of YouTube just being like, don't bother, love, just don't bother. Like, I actually think that's what's happening. Anyway, in today's video, I wanted to do a short video. I started to realise that I was collecting books by rappers, singers, and they were building up on my shelf. So I thought, why not make a little collection video and bring them all together? And actually, they're some of my favourite books that I own, and it's of no surprise really, is it, that singers and songwriters write amazing pieces of prose and amazing pieces of poetry, and therefore amazing collections of books. So, you know, lyrics are poetry, because some people don't even know that some of these artists actually have books out. I'm going to start off with this one here by Jhene Aiko. It's called Two Fish. It's a tiny little book. It's a poetry collection. But within there, there's also little sketches, there's extracts from her diary, so you can see photocopied pages from her diary, which are like full of angry capitals and really like authentic scribbles and scrawlings. Like, it really reminded me of my books that I write down in. On the back it says it's a collection of intimate poems and a few short stories written by Chilombo from adolescence to adulthood, and they're in no particular order. So there's consistent like snapshots through her life of different things that she's been through. Would I say that I loved her poetry? Probably not. Like, it actually isn't my favourite lot of poetry I've read. I do read a lot of poetry, but I love Jhene Aiko as an artist, and I think she's such a spiritual, creative person that I just enjoyed this as like an insight into her kind of personality and into her life stories. I need to look it up, but I'm actually not sure why it's called Two Fish. I'm sure I did know. Each poem is like 39 fish, 40 fish, etc., 41 fish. So, I don't know. You can see that she's constantly, like, she's a real artist. She's constantly questioning. She's constantly trying to find the answers to things and knowing that she probably can't. And I like that. You can hear, you know, parts of her lyrics as well throughout the book. I like the fact that it feels like very much in process a lot of the time. Yeah. The next one of the most beautiful books that I own. But because I used it as like a coffee table book, and it was one that I always just like had out or would get out to show people, and then when I moved as well, I absolutely ruined it. Like, I've actually trashed this book, and I wanted it for so long. And I've just trashed it. It's got unknown stains all over the front of it. The inside is still beautiful. The inside is still beautiful, but the outside is all messed up. But this is one of the most beautiful books that I own. This is Useless Magic by Florence Welch, who is otherwise known as the ethereal, alternative singer-songwriter from Florence and the Machine. This is literally so gorgeous. When you flick through the pages, every single page is like a delight. It's almost collaged and photography. It's a mix of media. It's got backgrounds. It's got paintings in it. It's got extracts from her diaries. It's got like doodles and scribbles throughout, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I could spend hours looking at this book, and every time I find something new in it. It has quite a few of her songs in there as well. If you don't know about Florence and the Machine, it's not really a big deal. It's not my usual type of music, but for some reason, way back from the album with The Dog Days Are Over and Girl With One Eye and My Boy Builds Coffins, that album I used to literally rinse when I was going through my like indie stage. Even all the way back then, I just used to love her lyrics. They were so different and so captivating. It's all very visual and visceral, and just something royally rich and beautiful about how she writes. I am so in love with this book, and have been since the day I first saw it in Waterstones, and at the time I was still a student, I think. or was just broke. But I was broke, and I was like, oh my god, I really want to buy that book. I feel like it was like 20 quid or something. Like it was quite like, it was spenny. And I went back a couple of days later and I was like, look, I have to get this book. The next one that I wanted to show you is one that, like, for some reason I haven't heard that much about it. I again have loved this book. Wretch 2 Rapthology, Lessons in Life and Lyrics. This one is less visual, more about the actual lyrics. It's important, like the whole thing is about his lyrics to his songs. And I love the fact that even in the dust jacket, like, it's so simple. Like, Jermaine Scott, aka Wretch 2, is a musician from Tottenham, London. Done. That's it, and his socials underneath. No fancy pantsy, whatever. The book basically is going through Wretch 2's favourite songs that he's written and kind of like breaking them down and decoding them in a way that you might, you know, do that in an English class to like Shakespeare or something. He's taking his writing and explaining how he's used these amazing like poetic techniques that to the untrained ear or eye to read, you probably wouldn't have even picked up on. He explains how he uses themes, he explains how he rhymes, he explains how he takes a listener on a journey through his music. Really, really shows that he's a standout artist, or compared to some other rappers. Like, he doesn't just write for the point of, you know, making music for people to party to. He writes because he's a writer at heart and he understands his craft. So I already like massively respected Wretch 2 as a lyricist anyway. If you're a poet or a rapper, like Wretch 2, although he's kind of getting on to being a bit old school now, like he is just renowned for his wordplay and his like all of his lyrics and how he puts things together. But this like completely solidified my respect for him. Everything is explained to a T, and he's just such an intelligent man, and it's just so obvious reading this book. He also uses the songs to kind of explain his life story. So it's not an autobiography, but as you go through, it starts to help like understand him as a person as well. He kind of like explains himself through his choice of songs that he talks about. So each like chapter, one's called The Schoolboy, then The Soldier, then The Lover, then The Wayward Son, The Father, The Justice, The King. So it's like a journey through his life and his career, told through his lyrics, but given us with this like extra description and explanation around it. The last one that I want to show you in this video is one that I've got that's new and I haven't finished reading it. The reason I haven't finished reading it is because I started off and I literally wanted to cry. Like, it's so beautiful. And with this, one thing I really liked is that I'm not the biggest fan of this author musically. This book is called I Would Leave Me If I Could, which, can we just have a moment for that name? I Would Leave Me If I Could. It's just beautiful. And this is a collection of poetry by the singer Halsey. For a start, look how beautiful the cover is. I've seen another, I think it was the US version, which was also gorgeous, but I personally love this cover. It's just so like arty. But as soon as I saw this on Bookstagram and I was like, yep, I need this. Then I opened it up and I read like the first 3 poems. And that's why I haven't read anymore, because I'm like, I don't know if I can do this myself. It is so good. The words she uses in this, the way in which it's put together. It's like she uses accessible language, but she mixes it with this amazing imagery as well. And I literally just love it. I'm going to have to find you an example because I don't really think I can explain it to you well enough. But it's called Lullaby. Sweet thing, you hang like a chain around my neck, like a bee sting. In August, your hollow pain, I sweat, hollowed, we wed. I've gone cross-eyed and tongue-tied at the prospect of your lips, like a plaid skirt-fitted virgin with the devil on my hips. I'd melt like a mint in the heat of your mouth, like a hurricane in a dress shirt headed down south, angry. I would give anything to be slipping down your throat. Oh, I don't know what it is. I think that this book is steadily about to become my favourite book, my favourite poetry book of 2020. And that's saying something, because I've recently just bought Rupika's Homebody, and she is probably one of my favourite poets. Halsey, my babes, thinks she might be taking over. is it any wonder that when they can write amazing music that they are writing amazing books? So if you guys know any other books that you really love that are written by singers, and I don't mean autobiographies, I mean novels, poetry books, collections, if you know any then that you think that I would enjoy, then please do let me know in the comments. And I think that's it. If you've enjoyed the video, if this is sort of content you want to see more of, then please do subscribe, like the video and comment, and that's it. Take care.
You